If you've ever felt like your description of your daily life in English sounds a little bit robotic.
Yeah.
Like just a list. I wake up, I eat, I go. Then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah.
We are tackling how to talk about your daily routine.
Yeah.
It seems simple, maybe, but it's actually, well, surprisingly tricky to get right.
It really is foundational, isn't it? Talking about your routine it's just crucial. It forces you to use the most basic fundamental structures in English.
The ones you use all the time.
Exactly. Thousands of times. It's practical. It's universal. Everyone has some kind of routine. And honestly, if you can nail the simple present tense and the key verbs for this, it gives you a huge boost in conversational confidence.
Right. So our mission today is basically to hand you the ultimate toolkit for telling your own daily story. We've gone through a whole stack of sources, language guides, grammar explanations, but also real transcripts, details of actual routines from people like Sarah, Emily, Paul.
Real people, real days.
Yeah. And we're going to pull out the key grammar, those sticky phrasal verbs everyone struggles with, and the time expressions you need. The goal is to make your personal narrative sound natural, detailed, and, well, fluent.
Okay, let's dive in. We have to start with the grammar, the engine behind it all. The simple present tense. Now, we call it simple, but why does it seem to trip so many people up, especially, when they're moving beyond the beginner stage?
That's a really good question. I think the core of it is understanding when to use it. The simple present is specifically for facts, habits, routines, permanent situations, things that repeat.
Things that are generally true.
Exactly. It's the language of repetition, of certainty. Where learners often stumble is maybe using the present continuous instead, saying something like, I'm waking up at 7, which sounds like it's happening right this second.
Instead of just stating the fact.
Right. Using the simple present, I wake up at 7, establishes it as a regular habit. That difference in meaning, that's everything for describing a routine. It really sets the whole context. It's not about now, it's about the pattern. Okay, structure. There are 2 main rules,
right,
and the second one involves just one tiny letter, but it seems to cause a lot of headaches. What's rule 1?
Rule 1 is the easier one, thankfully. It applies to I, you, we, and they. For these subjects, the verb just stays in its base form. Simple as that.
Oh, changes.
No changes. I walk, we eat, they start. Clean, functional.
Okay. But then comes rule 2, the bit that really shows you've got a handle on it, that tiny letter.
Ah, yes, the crucial S. This is only for the third-person singular subjects. He, she, and it. When the subject is one of these, you have to add an S to the end of the verb.
So she walks.
Precisely. She walks to work, he eats lunch, the alarm rings. It seems small, but it's vital.
Why is it so tricky? Is it just remembering?
Partly remembering, but also, I think, because in English, that sound often means plural, right? Like dogs or books.
Right.
But here, it's doing the opposite. It's marking a singular subject. Getting that sex right shows you've really internalized how English verbs work. It just instantly makes you sound more fluent.
And we saw some great examples of this mess rule with pets in the sources, didn't we?
Yeah.
That really clarifies it.
Oh, absolutely. Pets are perfect grammar teachers here. Paul's friend had that cat, Leo.
The lazy one.
The very lazy one. And Paul's description is a perfect drill. He wakes up, he eats, he sleeps, he eats again, he sleeps again.
It's simple life.
Simple life, but every action verb has that S. Same with Emily's dog, Max. Max plays, he eats. If you can just remember Leo, the lazy cat.
You remember the S. Good tip. Okay, so that covers positive statements. But routines also involve things we don't do or asking about others. How do questions and negatives work here?
Right. This is where our friends do and does come in. These are auxiliary verbs, helper verbs, and they actually simplify things once you get the hang of them.
Okay.
We use do for I, you, we, and they. And we use does, notice the A ending there for he, she, and it.
Ah, so the S rule we just talked about kind of jumps onto the do.
Exactly. That's the key insight. The auxiliary verb do or does takes on the grammatical work, including that third-person singular S.
Right.
And here's the crucial bit. Once do becomes does, the main verb goes back to its simple base form. It drops the S.
Oh, right. So you don't say the S twice.
Never. So if you're asking about Paul, the night owl, you ask, does he sleep a lot? Not does he sleeps a lot. The does already has the S.
Got it. Does she take the bus?
Perfect. Does has the S, so stays simple. And negatives work the same way. We use do not or don't and does not or doesn't.
So I don't like traffic.
Right. But about Paul, he doesn't like driving in traffic. Again, like stays in the base form because doesn't is doing the work. It handles the Heshite part and the negative part.
That makes forming questions and negatives much cleaner, actually. You just focus on getting do or does right.
Exactly. It's a neat system once you see the pattern.
Okay, the simple present is the foundation. Solid. But now we need the actual words, the verbs and phrases that describe what we do. The bricks, if you will.
Right, the vocabulary toolkit. Let's start right at the beginning of the day. Waking up, getting ready.
Yeah, hashtag, tag A. Waking up and getting ready. Phrasal verbs and paired actions.
And this part is just full of phrasal verbs. They're everywhere in daily routines, and the sources immediately give us a really key distinction. Get up versus get out of bed.
Yes. I found this really interesting because they feel similar, but Sarah's routine makes it clear they aren't. She says, I usually get up at around 6. After that, I get out of bed. So get up is like waking up mentally, becoming conscious.
Yeah, it's that moment of becoming alert, maybe switching off the alarm, while get out of bed is the physical action, leaving the bed.
And the teacher's routine shows a delay, too.
It does. I wake up at 6 o'clock. I get up at 6:50. That nearly an hour difference really highlights the two separate concepts. Maybe checking the phone, thinking about the day.
A very modern routine feature.
Totally. Then we have other specific actions. Turn off my alarm, stretch in bed for a few minutes. Nice little details.
And once we're actually vertical, it's hygiene and appearance. The sources mention have a shower and take a shower. Are they interchangeable?
Pretty much, yes. Both are perfectly fine, very common. Might be slight regional preferences, but functionally they mean the same thing. You can use whichever sounds more natural to you.
Good to know. Then Sarah mentions dry myself and get dressed. Standard stuff.
Standard, but notice get dressed uses that supporting verb get again. We'll come back to that. And the teacher gives us some great clothing vocabulary showing how routines adapt.
Right, the seasonal difference.
Yeah, and that's a nice touch. I usually wear jeans, a blouse, a jumper or cardigan, and boots in the winter. Specific items. Then the contrast, a skirt and blouse in the summer. It shows that the simple present handles these variations easily with the verb wear and different nouns.
And she also mentions put on my makeup, another phrasal verb.
Exactly, put on. And it's separable. Put my makeup on works too. That flexibility is part of sounding natural. Oh, and brushing hair, of course. Hashtag, tag, beat aisles and chores. Supporting verbs versus base verbs.
Okay, moving through the morning, food, and maybe some quick tidying. Here we hit something you mentioned, supporting verbs like have and get. Why is this so important?
Oh, it's huge. Because lots of other languages might let you just use the noun as a verb here. Like you might be able to say, I lunch.
But not in English.
Nope. Not usually for these common actions. The sources are clear. We say, I have lunch. I get dressed. You need that helper verb. It creates these really strong patterns in English.
So the main ones are have, get, and maybe do.
Exactly. Those three cover so much ground. Have for eating, drinking experiences. Have lunch. Have breakfast. Have a shower. Have a meeting. Get for changes in state. Get dressed. Get ready. Get home. Get tired.
And do for chores. Activities.
Yeah, often chores or general activities. Do the dishes, do the laundry, do homework, do some exercise. You can say I exercise, but I do some exercise often sounds a bit more natural in a routine context. It fits the pattern.
Looking at meals, the sources show nice variety. Emily have yogurt and fruit or toast with jam. Paul needs his eggs and toast. Sarah has oatmeal with fruit.
Right. But the really telling part linguistically is when the teacher describes making dinner.
Ah, the detailed cooking part.
Yes, she doesn't just say, I cook dinner. That's okay, but generic. Instead, she gives us action verbs. I chop the onions, fry them, and then mix them with garlic, tomatoes, and so on.
It paints a much clearer picture.
Totally. Using specific verbs like chop, fry, mix turns a routine item into a little story. That's the power of specific vocabulary, even within the simple present.
It's a great point about linguistic richness. Okay, and chores. Seems like phrasal verbs rule here, too.
They really do. Tidy up is a key one. The teacher says she'll wash up, sweep the floor, and tidy up a bit.
Tidy up, meaning make neat, put things away.
Exactly, making a space organized. And wash up, in a kitchen context, that specifically means washing the dishes. Sarah also says, I wash the dishes and tidy up the kitchen. So wash the dishes or wash up and tidy up. Those cover a lot of household cleanup. Hashtag tag C. The commute and workday. Time and transportation.
All right, we're fed. Maybe the kitchen's tidy. Time to get to work or start the workday. The language here obviously changes depending on how we travel.
Definitely. We see that variety. Catch the bus, take the bus, drive my car, and Emily just Walks to the library because she's close.
Straightforward verbs.
Yes. But there's another critical use of take here that's not about mode of transport, but about time.
You mean for saying how long something lasts?
Exactly that. Duration. The teacher's commute, she says, takes about 45 minutes. Sarah's bus takes about 30 minutes. That structure, it takes time to do something, is absolutely essential for talking about your schedule. People use it constantly in natural English.
Good one to lock down. Okay, so we arrive at work. Sarah is described as being very prompt.
Yeah, arrives at work at 8 a.m. and starts working immediately. The language reflects that efficiency.
And we get some specific work verbs.
We do. The teacher has to sign in and get the key. Very specific to her school environment. Sarah's day involves work on my computer and attend meetings. Notice, attend meetings. It sounds a bit more formal, more professional than maybe just go to meetings.
Good point. Register matters even in routines. And what about breaks? The social side.
Yep. The sources give us the right words, colleagues or coworkers for the people.
Both are common.
Both very common, yes. And the place, often the cafeteria. Sarah's description of lunch is perfect. We usually chat and relax during our lunch break. Those two verbs, chat and relax, really capture that social downtime.
Okay, we've got the grammar rules, we've got the core vocabulary. Now let's see how it all weaves together in the actual routines from our sources. These case studies really bring the language to life.
They do. They show the whole picture. Hashtag, tag A. The English teacher's varied day. Source A.
Let's start with the English teacher. Her routine seems packed with preparation and, well, balancing different roles.
Absolutely. Look at her morning. It's not just get ready, it's specific actions. Make a cup of tea and iron my clothes. Then she packs her bag with all my teaching materials. These verbs, iron and pack, show proactive steps, things she needs to do before leaving.
It shows the planning involved.
Exactly. And we talked about her cooking already, but it's worth mentioning again how those specific verbs, chop, fry, mix, make her evening routine so much more vivid than just saying, I make dinner.
It really does elevate the description. What I found most fascinating, though, was her contrast between working at the school and working online. The best of both worlds, she calls it.
Yes. That's a brilliant linguistic example. When she's at school, the language is about physical presence and interaction. Commuting, working in a team, seeing people.
Standard workplace stuff.
Right. But when she works remotely, online, the verbs shift completely. She talks about teaching 3-hour sessions, being able to talk to people around the world. The focus moves from attending and commuting to things like connecting, managing sessions online.
So the change in work style directly changes the verb she uses to describe her routine.
Instantly. It shows how flexible the simple present is, but also how our vocabulary naturally adapts to our circumstances.
And her evening. It seems like a classic wind down after a busy day.
It is. You see that sequence. Cooking, dinner, then the chores: wash up, sweep the floor, tidy up a bit, followed by more work-related tasks. Make phone calls, mark my students' work, do the laundry. A lot going on.
Still productive.
Very. And then comes the relaxation. Go on Facebook or watch TV until her son gets home. It's a full routine described with lots of clear, simple present action verbs. Hashtag B. Sarah's structured 9 to 5. Source B.
Okay, now, Sarah, her day feels like the classic, predictable 9 to 5. The language seems to emphasize efficiency.
It does. The choice of words reflects that structure. Arrives at work at 8 a.m. and starts working immediately. No messing around.
And breaks.
Very direct. Work tasks are clear. Work on my computer, attend meetings. But even in this structured day, she shows us how to add flexibility using frequency words.
Ah, right, the walking home part.
Exactly. She usually takes the bus. But, and this is key, sometimes if the weather is nice, I walk home. That little word sometimes opens up the routine, makes it feel real, less rigid.
It acknowledges choice. And her evening routine gives us a couple of nice vocabulary bits for relaxing.
It does. First, the feeling, when I get home, I usually feel tired, so I relax on the sofa. Including how you feel makes the routine more personal, more relatable.
Good point. And the second bit.
The social interaction phrase. A friend comes over. That's a fantastic phrasal verb, super common, meaning someone visits you at your home. My friend comes over.
Okay, comes over. Got it. And she ends her day with possibility.
Yes, using might. She might read a book or watch some TV before bed. It shows it's optional, not a fixed part of the schedule. It's the language of relaxed, uncertain choice.
This comparison between Emily and Paul is just brilliant. It uses routine language to basically paint personality portraits. Emily first, clearly labeled a morning person. Wakes up early, 6 a.m.
And her actions confirm it immediately, don't they? She opens the window, drinks a big glass of water, does some exercise. Her verbs are all about energy, health, starting strong.
And her job fits, too.
Perfectly. Works at a library, nice and quiet. She loves that she reads stories to kids. Even her commute is pleasant. She walks to work. Her whole routine, described in the simple present, reinforces that morning person vibe. Goes to bed early, too, around 10:00.
Then there's Paul, the total opposite. Not a morning person, a night owl. Wakes up later, 8 a.m.
And his first actions, they scream night owl. He needs coffee right away for energy. Big difference from Emily's water and exercise. His work environment contrasts, too. An office, not quiet, and he has to deal with traffic, drives in traffic. The language suggests more effort, maybe more friction in his morning.
But he comes alive later, right? His hobby uses the simple present, too.
Yes. He plays rock music and jazz on his guitar for an hour in the evening. That verb play signals enjoyment, a chosen activity. He also cooks, but simple stuff, pasta is his specialty.
And stays up late.
Naturally. Usually goes to bed around 11:30 or midnight. So, comparing Emily's efficient, quiet, early verbs with Paul's necessary, friction-filled morning verbs but creative, late evening verbs, it just perfectly shows how this tense can illustrate personality through daily actions.
It's really effective. And we have to mention Leo the cat again here. He's just too good an example to pass up.
He really is the ultimate mascot for that third-person S role.
Seriously.
Paul's description. Leo is very lazy. He sleeps all day.
Then the clincher. He wakes up, he eats, he sleeps, he eats again, he sleeps again.
You just hear that says over and over. Exactly. On every single action verb for Leo, it hammers home he, she, it. The verb needs an S in the simple present positive statement. Can't forget Leo.
Okay, so we have the core grammar simple present, the S, dodos. We have the key vocabulary, phrasal verbs, supporting verbs, action verbs. But like we said at the start, just listing actions sounds robotic. We need the glue, the words for time, sequence, certainty.
Right. The connectors and modifiers. This is what adds the polish, makes it sound like natural conversation, not just a list. First up, sequencing. How do we link actions?
Simple words, mostly. The sources use things like after that and then, and prepositions like before bed.
Exactly. Sarah's morning is a great example. Turn off alarm, and then I stretch. After that, I get out of bed. These phrases are like little signposts guiding the listener through her timeline.
Simple but effective. What about when things happened at the same time?
For that, the magic word is while. It perfectly links simultaneous actions. Sarah, again. While I eat breakfast, I often read the news on my phone. Two things happening together, clearly stated.
That definitely adds richness, and it sounds more realistic to talk about approximate times, right? Not always hitting the exact minute.
Oh, absolutely. Using words like around or at about is key for that natural feel. Sarah gets up at around 6 in the morning. She goes to bed around 10 or 10:30 p.m. The teacher goes to bed at about 11 o'clock.
It just sounds less rigid.
Much less. It signals you're talking conversationally, not reading an official schedule.
Okay, and finally, frequency. How often things happen, words like usually, always, sometimes. These are crucial, but placement can be tricky.
Yes, adverb placement is a common sticking point, but there's a fairly reliable rule here that really helps.
Okay, what's the rule?
The general rule is adverbs of frequency usually go before the main verb, but after the verb to be.
Ah, okay. Before the main action verb, but after am is are, was, were.
Exactly. Let's look at the examples. Paul usually goes to a small cafe. Usually comes before the main verb goes. But remember Leo the cat. Paul says Leo is very lazy. If he wanted to add always, he'd say, Leo is always sleeping. Always comes after the verb is.
That distinction is really important for sounding natural.
It really is. Get the adverb in the right place and your sentence flows much better. So we use usually, always, often for things that happen regularly. Emily always has a big cup of coffee.
And for less frequent things.
We rely on sometimes and might. Sarah sometimes walks home. Paul sometimes goes to a cafe. That signals it's optional, not every time. And for even less certainty, Sarah uses might. She might read a book or watch TV. It expresses possibility, not a definite plan.
So these little words sometimes, might, usually, around they add all the texture and realism.
Precisely. They stop the routine from sounding like a set of commands and turn it into a description of a real, flexible human life. Hashtag tag tag outro. Okay, so let's just quickly pull that all together. What are the absolute must-haves for talking about your day? First, gotta nail that simple present tense. Especially the says for he, she, think of Leo.
Right. Don't forget Leo.
Never forget Leo. Second, Embrace those phrasal verbs like get up, tidy up, come over, and use the supporting verbs have, get, do correctly. They're the building blocks. And finally, weave in those connecting words after that while around and place your frequency adverbs like usually and sometimes correctly. That's what makes it flow, makes it sound like you.
Definitely. Our sources really gave us the full blueprint, didn't they? Whether you feel more like Emily, the early bird, or Paul, the night owl, or maybe like the teacher juggling everything,
Yeah.
you now have the linguistic tools, the structures, the vocabulary to really tell your own daily story with confidence and, real detail.
And just as a final thought to leave you with, we saw with the teacher how her routine and the language she used changed dramatically between commuting to school and working remotely from home.
Yeah, the shift from catch the bus and attend meetings to talk to people around the world.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, as our lives potentially shift more towards remote work or different kinds of schedules, how does that impact the language we use? Does describing a convenient routine, one without the friction of commuting, actually make our language simpler? Or does it just shift the focus? Maybe instead of verbs of movement, we need more verbs of connection, management, self-direction. How do you describe a day full of online meetings and digital tasks without it sounding, well, a bit flat?
That's a really interesting point. How to keep the language rich, even when the physical routine changes. Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over as you think about describing your day. Now go tell us about it.